How's it going, guys? Graceful Huntress here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a weird little thing I found. Well, I'm going to show you a couple things, but the main thing I'm going to be showing you is something weird that I found with Sponsored By. Now, Sponsored By, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is Jack's free enterprise capstone that reads, "Your gun gains a manufacturer bonus based on the last gun you held in your hands." This can be anything from 50% recoil reduction from Dahl, 30% weapon damage from Jacobs, 35 reload speed from Tedior, 35 mag size from Scav, and the two we are mainly focusing on today are 25% damage as elemental from Malawan and 25% damage as explosive from Torg. Now, what that means is for Malawan, for example, if I hold a shock weapon, reload, if I hold a shock weapon, a shock Malawan weapon, and swap to, say, this flat off anarchist, non elemental, 25% of this gun's damage, or 25% of the gun's damage will be shock. It won't convert it to shock, it'll add it on as a bonus shock damage. Now, I've seen a few different misconceptions as far as what this shock is, or what this element is, what the damage type is. And I think I figured it out through just a little bit of testing. You see, if we shoot, for reference, this gun's base damage is 17,773, so 17773. My brain trips up on itself sometimes, so I'm just going to be saying the number out. I'm not going to say it as 1,000, 100, blah, 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 because my brain tricks itself. So as you can see, 17773 and 4444 as the shock damage value. Also, this can trigger status effects. It has around a 25% chance. So it's a pretty good chance as well. And 4444, 25% of 17773 is 4443.25, 4443.25, which rounded up would be 4444. And if we crit, you can see 43365, 4444. So this shock damage, this elemental damage from Malawan, is not affected by you critting. If we give ourselves gun damage from our skill Believe, which is 25%, we get 22216 and 5554, both of which are a 25% damage increase to this. Both shock and non-elemental damage is a ×1 multiplier in the damage formula. So this is our base. ×1 multiplier against flesh. So this is our base. And it's a pretty good one. If we go over to shock, the value changes a little bit. 17776 and 11104. The 17776, I can't explain. That's 3 extra damage. It is almost insignificant. What's obviously not insignificant, though, is that this damage value for the shock has gone up. This is significant because it tells us that the damage formula for this does follow element matchups. So shock against shield is a 2.5 multiplier, and 11104 is 2.5 times 4443.25. So we know that that adds up, and if we give ourselves gun damage, 22216, 13888 is 2.5 times 25% of the base plus 25% more from Believe, and the 22216 is the same value as here because both shock and flesh get a ×1 multiplier to non-elemental. You can see again, the crit damage does not affect anything. Now, this just tells us that it follows the damage formula. This tells us that it doesn't get affected by crits. This is slowly starting to tell us what kind of damage it is. But what really cements this damage is when we shoot an armored target. you can see that we hit for 14218, 4444. Now, if this were any kind of splash or any kind of damage that isn't just gun damage, that number should be going down as well, the 4444, because it would be calculated based on the 14218. The fact that it is the same number as flesh, and flesh and corrosive both have the same multiplier. No, flesh and armor both have the same multiplier on shock, which is ×1. It tells us that this damage is being calculated on shot, which is why crits don't affect it. But it is why it does get gun damage increases. As you can see, I am spec'd into just compensation, so I have 40% grenade damage. If I go over and I buy grenades, so I have grenades, so that damage should go down. If it's grenade splash, it is not. So this tells us that this damage is most likely a elemental gun damage bonus. That is all it is. It is not affected by crits, it won't be affected by amp damage, and it won't be affected by grenade splash or any splash damage of any kind. Now you might be asking, well then Torque must be the same because it's the exact same wording. 25% damage is elemental, 25% damage is explosive. And initially I thought that was right, so I didn't bother testing it until this morning, when I realized I was wrong. Because if you see a simple test here, 1773, 17773, 4444, that's the same damage as a shock as it should be because the multipliers are the same here. If we get gun damage, exact same values, it's all the same, except for two things. It gets amp damage, and it's affected by crits. Actually, let me take that back. I don't know for sure that this is affected by amp damage. I don't remember. I tested this a lot last night and this morning, and there's been a lot of information. But with amp damage, I don't know, but crits it is. On the shock, same base, lower armor, or lower explosive. This is because shield has a resistance to explosive. It's about a 0.8. 3552 is 0.8% or 0.8 times 0.8 times the 4444. As you can see again, you can see that number is affected by crits. And then armor, again, where it solidifies it all. Both numbers are lower, which it would not be if this were calculating on shot, which means it's calculating on hit, because 3555 is 0.8% of 14218. Or no, it's 25% of 14218. Sorry. So it's 14218. This is 25%. Now you might be asking, why is this number lower and this number is here, and this number is the same as flesh, but this number is lower and is pretty dang close to that. That is because both formulas here are getting multiplied by 0.8 somewhere in their formula. In this one's case, it's getting multiplied in the elemental damage resistance formula for explosive, where explosive has a 0.8 multiplier to shields. Here, it's getting it to the non-elemental damage formula, because non-elemental has a 0.8 damage resistance, a 0.8 multiplier with armor. And if we get gun damage, we can see the same thing happens. We can't crit here, but you can see it brings the number up to the normal values. And this one, it does weird shit. But this comes full circle to the point of this being gun splash damage. Now, how do I know it's specifically gun? Because it sure as hell is not rocket splash, because that would be stupid. You can see the damage value. Let's go over to flesh, because this is the best example. You can see 1773, 4444. If we throw grenades with just compensation, we should be getting more damage, but we don't. This tells us the very simple fact that if it is splash, it is more likely than not gun splash. Now, what does this all mean for Jack's damage formula in like actual playability? Absolutely nothing. Sponsored by is still an incredible skill. The simple fact that you can take a non-elemental weapon and apply shock or apply corrosive to it, or apply explosive to, say, an absolute 0. This is insanely strong to be able to do. And that's just it's so powerful to be able to do this. Also, you can see more examples here of this being bad with shield resisting both cryo and explosive, and the numbers being very low compared to here, where corrosive is stronger, and therefore the gun damage goes up, and you can see the damage from the explosive is going up with the continuous damage bonus from the beam. But the gun damage is not going up here. It's always sitting at 4876, 17622, 1672, 1672, 1112, 1112. And that's just further proof that the continuous damage bonus, it's not applying to that. Another thing, if you swap weapons fully before a bullet lands, so if I'm on the clear other side of Elpis and shoot this target dummy. How much range does this thing have? Holy shit. Anyways, if you're on the other side of Elpis and you shoot and swap weapons before that bullet were to land somehow, that bullet would lose any bonuses it had, which seems to be the same with Jacobs and Torg. It's just a really weird bug that just doesn't really affect you. Don't swap weapons mid-impact, pretty much. Let's see, what else? Is there a scav weapon in here? Because I don't think I have one on me. Let's go check the other one real quick. The scav bonus, which is a 35% damage bonus, also has an unintended feature. I want to see if I can't show it off here real quick. If not, we will call it here. Scav. Yeah, but it's a rocket launcher. That's going to be pricey. A cheaper one. Okay, let's see. I don't really care about this save because I can just quit out. Do that. There we go. Okay, so all we care about, let's just put on the Slogan's gun. I just have to be careful to not go too near that. We're gonna shoot up. I need ammo. Okay. So, I have 22 bullets in the mag, 248 in reserves. I'm going to swap to my scav weapon. As you can see, I have the Hyperion bonus. I'm going to swap back. It refills your gun. I do not know if this is an intended effect, but you can use this with like a scav pistol and high frequency trading if you're out of grenades and need and you need to reload your gun instantly, be it for, I don't know, flacker usage, for example. You can swap from a scav weapon to your flacker, empty the mag, scav weapon to your flacker, shoot again, shoot again. Etc., etc., etc. It can make for a really interesting thing, and it's just a really cool thing to know. It just gives a little more merit to the scav thing. It's not super useful. It is good with an incentive setup because you're going to have that increased fire rate from swapping all the time. Empty your mag. Swap back. Wait a few. Swap here. Shoot a bit, shoot a bit, shoot a bit. Swap here. And incentives will keep that. It doesn't lose stacks independently. Swap here. And it loses all the stacks at once. But yeah, so that is just a really interesting thing about Jack, sponsored by a couple of cool things. If you have anything else you want me to look into, any neat bugs you've found that you want to share, interactions, etc., feel free to post them in the comments. I love reading stuff like that. I love learning new things about this game because this is truly my favorite Borderlands game. And if you have any questions, if this gets like disproven and I'm just completely wrong somehow, I will pin any comment that proves that. I will pin a posted comment if someone just tells me, hey, you fucked up on Discord or something. But yeah, feel free to leave messages, comments, all that. And I will see you guys in the next one.